And first and foremost, we would like to apologize for the delay. And we've got a guest speaker, Dr. Vipin Gupta, who's an IIM alumni from Ahmedabad. And today's session is on can modern management be enriched through ancient Indian wisdom, right? So we basically from Dhruva, we follow the same pedagogy. We just don't believe in the rote learning model. We've got a lot of case studies which we take department which we Hyderabad Management Systems Academy, forum to proactively pursue the leadership development and anchored to ethics and brought in this session, and we are very happy to bring in one of the most distinguished and globally renowned speakers, Dr. Vipin Gupta, who's an alumni of IIM Ahmedabad. He was also a gold medalist, and currently he's the professor and co-director for Center for Global Management at California State University, USA. So I would just like to introduce him, and then without further delaying time, I would hand over the session to Dr. Vipin Gupta, sir, and then we can also going to have a Q&A session followed by high tea at around 5:40. So during 2015-16, Dr. Vipin Gupta was named American Council of Education Program Fellow, the nation's most prestigious higher education leadership development program. As a fellow, his mentors were President Michael Crow and Provost Mark Searle at Arizona State University and Secretary General Leslie Wilson at European University Association. Before the fellowship year, he served as Associate Dean, MBA Director, and Co-Director of the Center for Global Management, College of Business and Public Administration at the California State University, San Bernardino. Under Dr. Gupta's innovative and visionary leadership, the college embarked on its first strategic plan for global education aimed at improving its impact, being self-sustaining and interdisciplinary, and helping California State University along with other state universities also to achieve the same goal. He has led successful launch of the online, blended and international executive MBA programs, revamping the traditional MBA and forming College Graduate Student Services Center and MBA Student Leadership Association. He has improved college efficiency, faculty and student collaboration. He has improved and staff morale and responsibility, promoting enhanced student success. Dr. Gupta has a PhD from the Wharton School and a postgraduate diploma with gold medal from IIM Ahmedabad. As a Japan Foundation Fellow, he researched abroad at the University of Tokyo. He has been a chair of strategy at Simmons College, a family business fellow at Grand Valley State University, and India program founder at Photon University. Dr. Gupta has served as a founding board member and principal advisor of Amity University, California. Dr. Gupta is a prolific scholar with 150 plus articles and presentations in 40 nations. He is the co-editor of the seminal Globe book on culture and leadership in 62 societies, receiving the Society for Industrial Organizational Psychologists Scott M. Myers Award for Applied Research. Besides 14 books on multinationals in China, organizational transformation, and regional family business models, he has authored textbooks on strategy and on global leadership, offering original thought-provoking perspectives. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of takeaway, because this today's session is going to be on Indian lore. There is a Bhagavad Gita, the Arthashastra, the Chanakya Niti, or you call it anything. And in a nutshell, he is a person who's very good in this. He carries an expertise on Indian lore. And this is correlated with the Indian management, how it can help Indian corporates to revamp their business models so that they can sustain and become more competitive. So without further wasting of time, can we have a big round of applause for Dr.
Over the last 18 months, I've published 12 books on Indian wisdom and how they can address management and scientific challenges that we have. So these are a few of those books, 5 books, which are just going to circulate it so that you can have a look as I speak.
So I'm glad to say that I am from MBA from Sastra University. So we were the first to have the Indian organization values as a subject and Indian leadership. So those subjects Baba could cover in 1 2-hour session for all our MBA boys.
Fantastic. So can we have the PowerPoint, please? So I've named the project. This was a journey, of course, right now, Prime Minister Modi and BJP government and other governments also, they're all interested in trying to understand Indian ancient wisdom and how India can actualize its potential, potentially to be the Vishwa Guru. And so you will see this is in that context. And addresses a lot of challenge issues that we are facing right now in the context of anniversary that we are celebrating of our independence in India. So I have named this project Project Vipin because it's really about a quest to understand nature. So, and we say in India that to understand anything, you have to look inside, right? So you have to understand nature, I have to look inside myself. And so Vipin really stands for vastly integrated processes inside nature. So Mother Nature has a lot of potential, and it's we need to understand what her potential is. And so it's a quest to understand Mother Nature. And so it's coming up in a second. Okay. So and I'm going to situate that in the context of how to drive change in organization and leadership lessons from ancient wisdom for sustainable modern management science, which have been in different parts of Indian ancient wisdom, whether it's Hindu scriptures, whether it's the Jain scriptures or Buddhist scriptures, because all that is part of the Indian wisdom, right? And distributed much beyond that. And there are many terms it has lost over time. And I will give you just a very simple example. For instance, all of us know that there are 3 gunas which are very important. Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Now the question is, what's the literal meaning of these 3 words? So Satoguna, Sato means discontinuous, spontaneity or discontinuous. Why? Let's try to understand the logic. So what is Sato? Sato means fresh living in every moment. So every moment we have freshness. There is no stale element. So fresh element, Mother Nature is always fresh. Why? Because every moment, the Mother Nature's beauty is different. So a tree would have said, right? So her beauty is that the correlation between the creator and creator. So when we say religion, so how do you define religion? So religion and dimension of reality is the correlation of creature and creation. Right. So we have guru, and in India we worship a lot of gurus, and every guru says that I am going to give you a new direction. So over the years, we have many divine leaders, and who have given us new direction. So that your dharma is to fight. Given me this dharma, now I need to defend Raksha. So what's the role of Raja Rajogun? Is to make it continuous, because for truth of the moment, Raja had given me, that now becomes continuous. So Rajo is going to take this continuous dharma and I'm going to reproduce it for infinite. So Rajo is infinite. So it becomes stale because whatever is being continuing, I'm going to just produce it for an infinite element. Okay, so whatever was supposed to be a finite truth of the moment. Finite means uttam. Because it's why it is uttam, because it's relevant and appropriate for that moment. It's a right correlation. If you do that, you achieve the goal that you have. Okay, but if you delay it, by that time you need to do some correction in the dharma. You can't have the same dharma. Okay, so this is just an example of how we have lost understanding of our key wisdom concepts, and as a result, it creates more and more confusion. And if we have clarity, then we know exactly all things that we have learned, that why Satoguna matters, why Rajoguna and Tamoguna camp, it becomes absolutely clear once you have understanding of these three words. Okay, so similarly, Dhamma Satya Jagan Mithya is a doctrine of divine truth. Why? Because what it says is, first of all, mind-born creator. So when in Indian ancient wisdom, it's not a male, Brahma is a female. We go back and look in detail. Brahma. So Brahma is a creator, not a creator. It's a creator born in our mind. So when you say creator, creator is actually, Shankaracharya can call creator Advaita. So Advaita is translated as non-duality. A lot of people translate that Dvaita is duality, Advaita is non-duality. But why non-duality? Because what Shankaracharya is talking about is that we are the creator of all the reality. First we create the reality. And what kind of reality we create? We create a universe, a Brahma, universe of relationships, universe of correlation. And then as a creation of whatever we have created, so we have now become entangled in these relationships. We have become a son, we have become a mother, we have become a brother, we have become whatever. Then as a creation of whatever we have created, we become a creator who is enjoying the creation. So all realities are within us. There is no duality among these three. So that's what he's talking about, that we are the creators of our reality. Right? And that's why when he was able to bring back everybody who had turned over to Buddhism, bring back that into the Indian fold. And a lot of people say, why Buddhism left India? So Buddhism is about that Buddha is going to mediate your truth. But Shankaracharya said nobody needs to mediate because we are the creator. We have the entire potential. So mind-born creator consumes the truth of the moment to produce a desire of enjoying that moment for eternity. So what's the truth of the moment? Truth of the moment is that we are alive. We are animate entity. Now, if you can reproduce the truth of your being alive forever, then what happens? You become immortal. Okay. So I want to be immortal and I want you to be immortal. I want to be immortal. And therefore, I have a desire that this moment I'm enjoying, I want this moment to go forever. Okay, that's where the desire is born. The love is born. Okay, and if you reproduce it forever through illusionary production of it as a divine. Okay, so what is divine? Divine is these stands for conscious determination. I stands for imagination of whatever you are consciously determined. So we consciously determine when we are not alive. So that means that before our incarnation. So at that time, we have power to consciously determine what kind of birth we are going to take. When we take birth, we dream about what we have determined already, the goals we have decided for our life. Of course, we don't remember that. We can dream. So that's the imagination we get, the dreams that we get. Okay. And then that creates the kind of change we need to achieve by taking the birth. And once you develop the intuition, then nature guides you, Mother Nature guides you to for excellence. So divine is that conscious determination of the path you are going to take. Divya Tattva. And divine element is 100% correlated with time element. Because your ability to do this is phased over time. It's correlated with time. So organization fulfills the goal of using the past to profit from its known reality, because past reality you know, you are reproducing it, you are making that present. Right? So an organization, Sangathan, is using that in known reality. Okay. And then the organizer who is organizing this, organizer literally means Prabhu. Prabhu is organizer, is known as Yang. Yin and Yang. Yang is organizer. And organizable is Yin. Okay, so an organizer who is saying that I'm going to organize the past because that's where I'm enjoying, and I'm going to reproduce it. Okay, so what happens? The organizer's knowledge, wisdom, becomes absolute consciousness. Absolute consciousness is a Chetna, but it also is Atma. Top of that is Atma. So that becomes absolute consciousness, because what the consciousness, you make somebody a Prabhu and you follow the wisdom that becomes organizable, seeking a pie of that profit. Now, if everybody is taking a pie of the profit, that who is in that pie, in economics we say that everybody has the same profit, it's zero. You are like a devil. And Prabhu is also then making that zero profit then. Okay. So that's what I mentioned. He said that you should not, and like Indra, everybody is now making zero profit. You need to realize that you have the potential because everyone is me only. Okay, so in India, you can copy of right, and in just like in Christianity, right? Sri Krishna has told us that even Shiv is Sri Krishna only. And he says that if you believe you die, no, because everyone is me only. So everyone is me means that even a copy, my copy, my potential. I mean, a copy is not weaker than me. But then give you the mark which allows to develop my potential. That's one path. The path that Shri Krishna showed. The other path is, I believe that I don't have any potential. I'm just going to pray and surrender, and somebody else is going to take care of me. In that case, you remain dependent, and then the science says that in that happens is that person is, if that person decides to fulfill your wishes, then over time, that because they are devoting all the energy to you, and that okay. So this is very important point. So we don't understand what Shri Krishna really has done a very beautiful mantra that each one of us, there is no other reality except Shri Krishna. Okay, and even if you don't believe that, at least Shiv is well known in India. And if you don't believe that, then in Christianity it's well believed that everybody is the image of God. Right? So either you can go by belief system or you can go by what Shri Krishna has actually said. Okay, so whenever you reproduce your own reality, they profit and you suffer loss. Because you know, if everybody is reproducing that and you suffer loss, your uniqueness, okay, and eventually everybody then becomes zero by following you. So what happens is when you reproduce pie, because you are making that, you want to get a share of that pie and then you want to reproduce it and enjoy it over time, then you dilute the past force. So what is the past force? Past force is actually Vamanatma. Okay, so what's the energy value of past force? So past force is, as I said, what we create a universe of relationships. And within that universe of relationships, one that we are. So within two is okay. So Brahman is two. And what's our reality? Unknown reality. This known reality. What's our unknown reality? Unknown reality is that we are the goalkeeper. Now, what's the translation of goalkeeper? Shiv. We all know that if you have any goal, you give it to Shiv, Shiv will help you fulfill it. There's only one entity in the entire Indian pantheon. We are, all of us know that, okay, Shiv, any kind of goal Shiv will fulfill. The value of Shiv, 7. Goalkeeper is 7. Okay, what transcends Shiv? Mahashiv. Right? Mahashiv is above Shiv, beyond Shiv. So what transcends? Now what's the goal of a goal that modern science clearly says if you create, you have to invest something. That means that you are going to degenerate. We know that Shiv is only. So goal is 9. So, well, I'm good. So, goal is 9, 7 plus 2. So 22 divided by 7 is what we know, that's pi. So pi is a square pi. All this is part of Indian wisdom, that how pi is good, because we are diluting the past force with our present. Okay, and we are making everybody else a leader, and we share our wisdom with everybody. Then we make them the goal. We assign them the roles, fulfill this, do this work. So they bosses the goalkeeper, and they become the goal. But I want to be like where I can just delegate. Is the essence of Mother Nature. So that becomes
Just a second.
Yeah.
So 9 is the goal. 7, where is the 2?
2 is the Brahman, the earth. Okay, so the goal of the goalkeeper is that goalkeeper creates a universe without his entropy. Only Shiv has that power. Okay, so I'm going to another beautiful thing. So this one, yes. So essentially, in my work, I show that all the challenges, we have the solution within ourselves. And challenges can be divided into 12 domains according to Indian and ancient wisdom. One is social. What is social? Anything outside us is social. Human, whatever we are doing, ecological, economic, national, psychological. Actually, interesting. Krishna is national element. What is national? National is like an institution which everybody follows like a citizen. Okay, so nation, diversity, engagement, responsibility, all challenges can be identified and categorized into these 6. Now, is Sheeni. What is Sheeni? So 6 letters. What does Ojas mean? What does mean change? You have potential. Okay, when I ask who is guided guru? Guru's wisdom reduce what is Guru's wisdom is. You can okay. Yes. So the next is that we need to become conscious of potential and our potential to guide us to the creator, right? And if we are free of these challenges, in that case, our management is sustainable. But how can we be free of these challenges? Through conscious determination, through imagination of a solution, by developing virtues to fulfill that, right? To create intuition so that we can fulfill them effortlessly. Work with Mother Nature, use Mother Nature as the solution, and achieve excellence so that we don't have entropy. That's how our shift has no entropy. Because shift works. Please, next slide. And that's the time. So that's why we say shift is calm. Shift knows how to manage calm. Next slide. You can see now that's 18.6. So what's interesting is, the next slide is interesting. So first thing is what I have clarified many other terms. Have you ever thought of Guru Tattva that reproduces? So that's why that gravity attracts. So what I have done is I just quantify the energy. So like in the letter in Sanskrit. Om that make the potential. So when there is a decay operative element, so when wisdom is being reproduced, wisdom, what? Okay, we become, you don't understand the essence. What is that? That's a sa. Sa is 16, the Shikishin form. Okay. So and so that 16 actually reproductive element. Okay, and therefore the present in a sense because all different concepts in Indian wisdom and modern science, modern management can be explained using the same concepts in a very succinct manner. So we go to the next slide. So You can please get moving. Okay. Yeah. So, and we have heard of a lot of those. And others. Okay, what does that mean? Of course, there is a Shri Krishna outside. So we are what we are. Right. So the guru is provided. Energy is always constant, breeding consciousness. Chetna को जब हम I think that comes over 23 chromosomes, 4 hours. So from 23, you're left with 19. So it's not that potential is all in essence the assumption of nothing but the reality of the thing. That means when you say like Om Namo Shivaya, it means Om assumption, assuming nothing so that I can get a totality to raise those meanings. But then there will be
దారిలో వస్తున్నా కూడా మనం కూడా బొమ్మ షాప్ లో
potential to, therefore, the people, there are a lot of gurus, after they have cleansed their past, solution. Because if that's the goal that you had, in your very first goal, stop diffusing out. So multipolarity, we can integrate that. Then they say okay, so that's the essence of Mother Nature. So yeah, this is all part of our Indian business. So all we need is confidence of the countries. Okay, civilization of religion. It's a global dynamic. For that, Guru is already here, so we don't need to do any research. Yeah, even though that's a deep package of. So if you want India,
This will be all these probably
all the translate. Now we look at translator. We look at translation strategy. I E equal to mc square really tries to say E is energy, m is mass, right? So that mass, what Einstein is saying is that mass is going to go out this. Okay, so what goes out of the, if there is this desk, what is going at the speed of light? The electric effect. So electric effect in physics is going to Prabhu comes so sending all the knowledge and so we say that Prabhu or the Prabhu of a guru of any wise person. Okay, that's the electric person magnetic. Okay. So that's electromagnetic. If E equal to mc square, E is also equal to m, E is also equal to mc, E is also equal to mc cube. Now Einstein God, why? Because Einstein is a Western. So he is. They want to make him the epitome, and once you define that Einstein is God, nobody can beat him. That means, of course, kind of Indians are inferior to Einstein and
Sir, are you allowed to say the same thing in water?
yeah, anyway. What is the issue? So why? So nobody understands E equal to mc square. Nobody understands Einstein's equations. So if you don't understand, how do you make anybody a deity, a god of science? Nobody has been able to explain his field equations. And I have shown in my work what his field equations actually mean.
A bit of digression here. Initially, when you're saying Dvaita and Advaita and things, the small boy,
Absolutely.
doesn't know anything. He undergoes penance for Shiva out of within me and within you. It ultimately up to you.
Exactly.
If somebody thinks that this is my potential and it is completely
Cell cannot come from nothing. So in an image becomes an image. So that
just I want to. In Hinduism, for knowledge, there is no other religion. So Hinduism
it's a very good question. So first, so
now still a lot of things are happening. To understand consciousness.
it's sentient force. So
We are in the same situation today. What we are doing today is sustainability. We are sustainable, and we are trying to. It is nothing but reinventing the wheel and all these things.
Absolutely.
Main element in our show.
exactly. So our consciousness does is it gets right. Okay. what
the perpetuated deity. Now, so what happens is that if you look at like meiosis in science, in biology, the breeding element, okay, that's paramship. Okay, that's also kind of the 15 is also
which is the form of Vishnu. So India is a masculine nation historically, and therefore Mohini, even though Vishnu is originally Mohini, we say Vishnu is male. If you look at Indian ancient scripture, Shani is a female. Shani was the mother of sun, and she reincarnated as the son of sun.
Yes.
Okay. Yam is the masculine form of Shani. Yam and Shani are no different.
Yama.
Yama, and Yama English translation is white star. So in science, you hear about white dwarf star. White dwarf star is nothing but Yam. Shani is nothing but potential. So Shani has, like, I show 21 forms of Shani and 21 forms of Yam. So 33 types of deities. I show that, but then I extend it to, because you add reality of shape. 33 plus 7, 40. 40 is a relative reality. When you multiply 40 by 40, that's 1600. I told you, 1600 is 16 times 100. 1600, that's the present, that's the absolute.
So the older form of Shani is a female?
Yes, you go and look at, go and Google and
It's interesting.
search.
It's interesting.
Shani was originally pre-Vedic times, was worshipped as a female. Brahma was worshipped as female.
But it is popularly known as he is one of the sons of Surya. It's like Yama.
Yes, that was he reincarnated.
That's exactly.
Okay, and that is all that can be shown in terms of phases of sun.
Yes.
White star. So what happens is white star, say dark matter banta hai. That's like Prabhu, the dark matter. From dark matter, black hole.
Yes.
Okay, so and then from that sun banta hai, then moon banta hai. And then 8 planets.
Okay. Again, they are related. Ultimately,
Each item becomes other thing.
ultimately, it's getting related.
When science is saying that they transform,
Yes.
the sequence of transformation is all given in our wisdom, and I show that how something is transformed.
Interesting.
And that's all correlated with science. So when you combine validation of science with our ancient Indian wisdom, then we can show that our wisdom is really powerful.
Just sitting under the sun, they could understand.
Right?
I mean, I'm going into the consciousness or subconsciousness, superconscious, whatever it is. So once you start digging into it, you start understanding these things.
I'll end by giving one very important element. For instance, we all know that we have physical body. Right? So first of all, we have 6 bodies. One is physical body, which is called Sthula Sharira. Second is intellectual body. That's called Suksham Sharira. Third is mental body. Manuma Maya Sharira or Hidamana. The fourth is astral body. Astral body is like sun. Okay, so we actually take birth in the body form by astral body.
Astral body, yes.
Our astral body can take multiple forms. You would have, if you read Swami, that autobiography by Yogi Yogananda, he talks about that how one person can take multiple forms, multiple bodies. That's astral body projection.
Astral body is there even in Christianity also.
It's not a matter of whether it's there, because it's the reality.
That's the reality. At least they could understand that. Yeah.
They understand. So astral body is called Linga Sharira.
Okay.
Okay, it's called Linga Sharira, or it's a masculine body. The next body is called etheric body. etheric body is a reproductive body. It's called Bhoga Sharira. Okay, so it's a reproductive body. It reproduces whatever. Astral body is also conscious body. So if you are conscious of something, that's what astral body is. Next body is called causal body, which is Karan Sharira. Karan Sharira is nothing but the self-awareness. Okay, it's our Atma both. That's our causal body.
Causal body, CAU?
Causal. Karan Sharira.
Yeah, Karan. Then what is the difference between causal body and a Bhoga body?
Bhoga is the infinite body. It's called etheric body. Okay, ether is reproduction. Etheric means Maya. Okay, so it's a Maya element. And the etheric body is an infinite body. It's also called Nayana. Okay, so it's the infinite value. It's an infinite value. Okay, so because it's a reproduction of everything. I told you infinite is you reproduce everything. So infinite values reproduce all the forms, and it's a reproduction of all the forms. If you are consuming, bhoga means you are bhogi, consuming all realities you have created. And the reason why you have created these multiple realities in different births is because you have Karan Sharira. Okay, so what is Karan Sharira? It's a feminine body, it's actually causal body. It's made of two things, potential and I. Okay, what is I? Who am I? Okay, what is I? I is the self, is the mother nature projecting herself within each of us. And mother nature is saying, this is I am here. So I becomes the creator. Purusha. I is the creator, creator means Purush. Okay, why? Because why creature is masculine? Because mother nature is mother, so everything becomes then kind of the masculine element gets activated. Whether it's a female or male, it gets activated in everyone. Okay, so in science, so the creature is actually called self-luminous entity. So the seventh element is self-luminous entity after these six bodies. So each one of us is a self-luminous entity. And what is self-luminous entity? In science, we call it quantum photon. Quantum photon. What is quantum? Quantum means superposition, superimposed photon. What is a photon? Photon is actually an imaginary element, because when we imagine something, the light of that imagination comes out of our body in an aura like a photon. So whatever we are imagining, the photon has that energy. So spirit of our imagination is photon. The Ru is photon. Okay, so then what happens is that whatever belief system, that's also photon. At every moment, whatever we believe, that becomes a photon. So we superposition multiple photons.
So aura is reality.
Of course, that is all of us. You can get photographs also, and so it becomes a quantum photon. Means several superimposed imaginations. Every moment we are imagining something. Every moment we are creating a photon. So we are nothing but a heap of photons.
Got it.
Okay, but that heap of photon is not us. We have created that reality because we have lost that essence. So once we clear all six bodies, we understand our self-luminous entity, then we go into our essence.
Sir, is this six bodies theory, is it there?
It's not a theory, it's a reality.
No, sorry. I'm not exactly.
Doctrine.
Doctrine, let's say.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere, or it's you?
No, no, I'm not propagating it. It's actually kind of, you can, in these books I've explained it. I'll give you kind of the source of kind of where I got some of these basic things. Okay. Other things is the potential of Ma Saraswati and Shri Krishna has been activated within me. So that's the reason why I'm able to share this with confidence and able to prove it also. Okay, but I will give you the background. Okay, the background is my father's professor at IIT Kharagpur. That is 1961, second batch of IIT Kharagpur. was a person called Kartar Singh Yadav. He was a professor of agriculture at IIT Kharagpur. Then Kartar Singh Yadav became Vice Chancellor of Hisar University, and then he became Joint Commissioner, Ministry of Agriculture. That's an extremely high position in Government of India, Joint Commissioner, Ministry of Agriculture. Right, and then he became head of all agro industries in India, because Government of India folks knew his powers. His powers were, if he went to anywhere, like Sai Baba, and immediately after seeing him, they will say, please come and sit next to us. A lot of people will say, we are not even dhool of your charan. So my mother died, he said this, she is active even now, and that's come like 40 years back. Okay, anybody had cancer, gone in 1 second. Okay, so our car for one time it was out of petrol. He put his hand and kept on running for 10 days without any fuel, no water, nothing. Okay. So he had all these powers, and his powers were something which nobody has, because he predicted that he's going to leave his body 1 year in advance. And he left his body on Sankranti, which is 13th or night of 13th January 1997. 1 year in advance, he predicted that he's going to leave his body. And we know that even Bhishma Pitama left on that moment. Because that's the moment when you leave and you essentially can't. And then he's also very well educated. You don't become this way. He was instrumental in bringing IITs to India. Okay, so my father, after that, he was a professor at NCERT. My father, he left everything in 1980 when he realized that Yadav has these powers, and was spending time with him only after that. And so from our birth, we have been exposed to the path of action and path of developing our potential.
It's more of an action.
Right.
Absolutely action.
Yeah, it's action, because these books for the last 3 years, every day, 14 hours work. Okay, doing nothing, working on this only. So it's like tapasya, right? Because you're working on this only full time. So this concept of this has been explained. So another example, Yas Sahab, he was creating his, so he had, of course, a big flat from Government of India in Delhi, but he had bought his land and constructing his house for after retirement. So his neighbor was a follower of Shri Ravi Shankar. Okay, at that time, Ravi Shankar had just created his Isha Foundation, and so his neighbor told Shri that he has met Kartar Singh Yadav ji and he has these powers. So Shri then met Kartar Singh Yadav ji, and he asked him, can for 1 month he and his 2 Shishyas live and get Diksha from Kartar Singh Yadav ji. And he learned all the breathing techniques and everything from and at that time I also saw, because at that time, so at Chanakyapuri they stayed for 1 month. And in return, in Guru Dakshina, she did Bhumi Pujan in Pitampura in front, and I was there, I was a child at that time. So he did Bhumi Pujan in return. And that was just a very small proportion of his knowledge which he shared with Shri, and we see where Shri is right now. So this, in terms of these bodies, he told me about these bodies.
That's okay. I want to.
But I've confirmed it also, based on Indian literature and other things. But these are the bodies. Okay, so sometimes there's a confusion in terms of, because sequence is also not clear to everybody. But this is a sequence. But what these meanings are, there are many other things which I have clarified now in books, because that has become clear to me. That not only this, each of these bodies have different parts. So I clarified that in the books.
No, sir, one question.
And correlation of that with our actual body system in science. So actual translations that also have given. So the whole purpose is that to identify that those words curves, everything is already there. Those words are there in Indian wisdom. They mean that. We just need to
But that has to
correlate.
be applied to.
Correlate. We need to correlate.
Tap it.
Yes. So once that correlation is done, hopefully other people will get motivated. Yes.
Something related to that. Just see, even this is like Reddy Labs, probably one of the finest companies that India has produced. And all the companies, they basically structured around Western structure model, either what you can call that chain, forgot it's a long, and then you have departmentalization, and then you have metrics which are determined by like performance metrics, and then you have fundraising, which is again based on the Western whatever capital returns and all. Everything is revolving around it. So how do you, because this is completely different thing, how do you infuse or probably assimilate, or probably how do you come?
So the very first thing is to have the confidence. Okay, if you don't have the confidence that we have the potential to do this. So you look at like for instance, we did some studies of CEOs at DHRUVA College in Andhra Pradesh. We found that there were several biotechnology and other companies which came up, and those technologies, people thought they're not in India. And there were some CEOs who, just like Rothschild, the New York steel baron of the past, so some CEOs went to their friends in the US, Indian friends, and here, and put them in a room. You guys are the ones who are at the forefront. If Western companies are not sharing the drugs which protect our children, so they're saying that their latest drugs they can't discount. You have taught them. Why don't you give us a new process? And many companies were very successful.
Are you sure that from this the process are also?
You have case studies. You have written. Shanti Biotech, Shanti,
Shanta Biotech.
The CEO told us the story. But his background was chemical. He had no understanding of biotechnology. So he went to Pfizer and asked for technology. The Pfizer said, our technology is so expensive, our drugs are so expensive, let your children die, whatever the deficiency of vitamins.
The vaccine that is popularized.
Yeah. So he told me that he brought all his friends, put them in a room, inspired by Rothschild. He said that you have to find a solution. Because there is never one way. You are the ones who are creating the medicine, Pfizer. Why can't you create a medicine for Indian children? And within 1 year, they did it against all odds. Nobody believed him. So all we need is commitment. Focus. All of us have to realize that all of us are Shri Krishna. If we say that this is what we need to, that Jannatan lag jati hai piche, usko pura kar sakenge. Kyun? Kyunki each one of us has that potential. We are no different than Shri Krishna. But if we don't believe, we don't have the confidence that we have the same power, some potential. And Shri Krishna can also not help.
Nobody can.
But it doesn't, there has to be a difference between ego
Yes.
and understanding. The fact that we have potential doesn't mean that we are that. We have a lot of potential to cover, and therefore we need blessings.
The first baggage is to ego. It has to go.
The Hindu mythology says that 84 lakh junior ke baad, there is 84 lakh species after that. We get rid of that cycle of birth and death. But
So I show how yugas are made. All that science I give complete numbers. Okay, so that's all kind of like belief system. But as I said, that so it's also true that you have to cut your past. But a bigger truth is that you need to fulfill the very first goal that you had at the time of your incarnation, the very first incarnation. So everybody tells you clear the past. Now, if your past is over 1,000 words, we say it's too much daunting task. But if your focus is first birth, mein kya focus tha? You do that. So you forgotten the purpose. That's much easier.
You came with a design and you are fulfilling it.
Right.
Bottom line, right?
So past force क्या करेगा? Karma is of no importance. Past karma is no importance.
Yeah.
Because आपने वो कर्मा कर दिया जो है ना, जो आप फर्स्ट बर्थ में आए थे करने के लिए.
But as a principle that you have to, like, आपको भोग करना है. You have done something that you have to.
No, not necessarily. Okay, भोग करना नहीं है, भोग करते हैं हम. Because that's the law of mother nature.
That's the karma. Karma theory.
Karma effect, right? So everything that we do has an effect. So that's why we bhog that effect. So if I created this, my consciousness is within this. That means that because this is my child now, it's going to be always attracted to me and I'm always going to be attracted to it. There's a mutual attraction. So I now become entangled. But if I focus, ye mera karam tha. First, this was the reason why I incarnated. Then through conscious determination,
You are attaching.
you are transcending it. You're going beyond it because now you're saying that my focus is only this eklavya ki tarah. Mera yahi focus. So then nothing can disturb you. It's like concentration, right? So this is what my focus is. So Arjun को जब कहा क्या है उसको तो केवल वही आंख दिखाई दी ना जब तो जो भी पास फोर्स है that's irrelevant. Whoever came first, he's not saying that दुर्योधन ने ये कहा था कि आंख वो दिखाई दे रहा है पैर, भीम ने ये कहा था. पास्ट का इफेक्ट नहीं हुआ ना अर्जुन पे. क्यों नहीं हुआ अर्जुन पे इफेक्ट?
Focused.
Don't hear her. We don't have clarity of our goal. That's why past effect is important because we cannot run away from it. So हमारे साहित्य में मुश्किल सलूशन भी दिए गए हैं, सरल सलूशन भी दिए गए. प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि हमने मुश्किल सलूशन पकड़ लिए, वो कह रहे हो ही नहीं सकता. जो सरल सलूशन है कहता मुश्किल वाला नहीं हो रहा, सरल खास करेंगे. Easy solution is totally out of question. तो इजी ही लगता है कि चलो भगवान कर देगा, भगवान भरोसे. So again, if you reflect on what I'm sharing, it's all part of our wisdom, and it makes sense. It connects a lot of dots that a lot of people have said. So I'll finish there. Taking a lot of time. Thank you.
Can you define what is modern management?
Very good. So, so modern management is really the current state of knowledge about how do we manage things, right? So that's what I mean by modern management. And so one of the things I say, and again that I learned from my guru, manage the manageables. Okay, manage the manageables, but beware, manageables don't manage you. Okay, so what happens is that even though we are manager, we try to manage the non-manageables. So I gave you an example that we try to manage the 5 elements. But those 5 elements are not manageable elements. Manageable elements are what you are conscious of, what you are producing, what wisdom you are producing, and how connected you are with the time in terms of divine element. So those 3 are manageable elements. Because we have lost sight of those 3 manageable elements, even though we know that the universe is made of 5 elements, we can't do anything with it. It becomes just a theoretical knowledge. Has anyone been able to do anything with that knowledge?
Never put to use.
Never put to use. because it's a non-manageable knowledge.
What is consciousness, wisdom?
Consciousness, no. Wisdom is, it's a guru effect. So chit is wisdom. Okay, that is essentially guided force, guru force. So whatever guru has taught us, that force is now reproductive. Therefore, wisdom is reproductive. It's also called punyatma. Punya atma. Okay, so that's the consciousness chetna. Okay, chetna is also atma.
Chetna, chit, and
Chetna is atma. But chetna and atma are the same because atma is the stock of consciousness. So essentially, what happens is consciousness is within us, but then atma is what we have diffused in different elements, in different forms. So for instance, I met somebody just 2 days back. And he said that for every day 2 hours, I just listen to Om. I don't speak anything. I just put a audio on. I listen to Om. And he said that I'm getting a very interesting experience. And my experience is I see a blue Shiv sitting and a lot of things coming from outside and merging with Shiv. So can you explain to me what does this mean? So I said, first of all, I told you that Om means assumption of everything with nothing. And when you are hearing Om, the sound of Om, what it is doing, Shiv is actually you. It's not somebody else. Shiv is your real you. Okay. But it's not whole of you because that consciousness has gone out in different forms to fulfill different goals that you have or different lives. They are all coming back. So assumption of everything that you have diffused back into you.
So Laya. Shiv is for Laya, right?
Yes. So that Mahashiv is coming back into Shiv. Okay, so that's the experience he was having. He said, I didn't. He said it makes sense, and at that time, he said, I'm feeling heavy. My head feels heavy, but it feels kind of beautiful.
sorry, sir, you 3 manageable. One is Chetana, second one is
Chit. Consciousness is not manageable. So Chit is manageable. Chit, by it's a wisdom, you can decide what wisdom you're going to reproduce because wisdom always needs to be corrected for a new moment. Okay, so you can use, if you use wisdom, patthar ki lakir, then it's always going to give you an error.
For that moment, that is a wisdom.
That's the wisdom, you have to a little bit modify that.
Can you give any example?
So example is, suppose there is a flood. Okay, the wisdom is that you need to have embankments so that the water does not overflow. That wisdom is only till the water does not overflow. Once the water overflows, then if you try to put an embankment, because that's what your guru told you, that to protect from the flood, can put kind of sand bags. It's a wisdom that's not relevant at that moment. Or maybe even if you put, you need to add something. You need to modify it a little bit.
For principles, we cannot change, sir. For example, law of gravity or any principle.
No, so
It cannot come with wisdom.
No, the issue is where the laws come from. So it said the law of conservation of energy. It's a Western doctrine. In Eastern doctrine, Shakti is the Chetna and uska prajanan. So prajanan, Chetna ka aapne prajanan kiya to usse energy bani. Because you are breeding your consciousness and you are making it everybody's consciousness. So whatever is conscious within you, why you want to make it everybody's consciousness? You say, I made so much effort to become conscious of this. Okay, I didn't know that Dhruva exists and Dhruva is kind of is such a great school. Now I want to make everybody aware of this. Okay, so that's why kind of essentially so when you promote your consciousness with everybody's consciousness, That's what. So that's the. So what your conscious is managing. Ojas. It's called sentient. Okay, what is Ashirvad? Ashirvad is actually sentient energy. So whatever somebody is conscious, uski energy shakti hai, usko sentient energy कहते हैं. Sentient energy is, that's the missing energy in science. In science, they talk about that we know all these energies and one element is missing, that the sentient element is missing. Because sentient is what we are conscious. They are looking at all physical world. So sentient energy is the cold energy. It comes from the white star. The sun receives that. So sun, scientists tell the sun receives cold air. That's what makes sun. That cold air, because it's coming with force, therefore it becomes warm. Because it all comes and at one place, it becomes dense. That density creates heat. This is all in science. So that cold knowledge is the Ashirvad. So Ashirvad is always given with the left hand, the masculine hand, the masculine hand, because it's a cold hand. So Ashirvad is always given with the left, because this is the right hand is the warm hand, the feminine hand, the Shakti hand. So you don't give Ashirvad with energy. You give Ashirvad with your conscious element, with your left hand. So the Ashirvad is actually sentient energy. The energy value is 1000. So all these things again you can find. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So we are done. Thank you. Yeah. Good.
I just want to share one definition given by Sai Baba, being our first audience for manager, all management students. So he said, manager in 7 letters he explained. M stands for mind of man.
Right.
A is for aspect of environment.
Right.
N is for nature of nations.
Right.
A is for awareness of Atma. G is for guidelines of goodness. E is for inquiry of ethos. R is for role of rules.
Very good.
So he said how the ancient, our wisdom relates to the management. So all these aspects, if you are thorough, then you become a true manager.
Right.
He always says, managing yourself, first. You can manage any factory or anything. That's the small thing I wanted to share because
Very nice.
the topic is about ancient wisdom and matter management.
Very good. So thank you all. I hope we had some meaningful interaction. And again, these books are available in Telugu as well. So I've translated. I've not put them on Amazon, Flipkart, but they're going to be available. So they're translated in Spanish, Marathi, Telugu, and Tamil, and Hindi, of course. Okay, so those translations are going to be soon available. And so these 12 books, they're also available in Kindle for 45 rupees, 50 rupees, 25 rupees. So I've kept it very, very low cost.
With your kind permission, I would like to have this book.
No, I can't share this book.
Just to I'll read back.
No, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but you can take a photograph, you can easily order it. So because I'm going to take it to many other places. Yes, yes. Yeah, so yeah, so one of these books, what is I think this one, so it gives the whole secret of Shani and Yam. Okay, so all different forms of Shani and Yam. So you will get that different paths. So like after a path of action, karma, then Jnana Marg, Bhakti Marg, then the next marg is Siddhi Marg. Okay, it's also given in Gita. Siddhi means divinity. Siddhi means impact. So whatever impact we have, that's our Siddhi. So once you siddh the Siddhi, that siddh is the Shiv. So yeah, you can take the photographs. All these 12 books come actually here. I have the book covers. Can you show the covers of those books? Yes.
Yeah, so these were 9. We have 1.5 million words. Actually, there are no references. Everything is original in this. So no copy of anything.
What is first one's name?
Right. So as I said, it's all Saraswati and Tibetan and activation. So all those things become extremely clear once I start working on them. Show this now. Okay, so these are first 4 books. Okay, then next, go to slide further down. Further down. Move down. Okay, oh, 13, I think. Yeah, here, 14. This one, 19th and 14th. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so these are the next 4, what is consciousness, and then consciousness, self-awareness, human factor. And finally, last 4. So these ones. So all those 12 are now available. So trading factor is actually Almighty Creator. In Sanskrit, it's known as Tvam. Almighty Creator is the trading factor. Why? Because whatever we trade, whatever we appropriate, we are able to become Almighty Creator. We can create everything with whatever, if we appropriate everything. So like Elon Musk takes everything from everywhere. Then therefore he becomes Almighty Creator because he can create whatever he wishes. The Creator cannot create whatever he wishes. Almighty Creator can create whatever he wishes. Why? Because he had traded everything. Okay, so all these factors can become absolutely clear once we go deep into our wisdom. Yeah. But cultural factor is actually Ishva, because that's what is the perpetuating factor. Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm sure everybody is enlightened in this session, and a lot of wisdom, ancient Indian wisdom, correlating with modern management. So, can we have a big round of applause for our guests? Propose a vote of thanks on behalf of the team.
Just serve tea and then you can.
We've got IT which will be served here.
The snacks and teas coming here, please be seated.
First of all, I thank DHRUVA College of Management for this great opportunity. My wife saw this article on Hindu Sunday, and then she told, I noted down and came, and I came to know a magnificent personality, Vipin Gupta, and this time is so less. We have dwelled upon so many things, and probably we are getting to know things in a different. But there are few takeaways, which will be, one is like the knowledge that is there, which going out and probably coming back, and we are not able to identify it. The only way to get it is like we have to be confident, and then yes, that is a wonderful thing, because and Shanta Biotech's example of being, because I have known through that hepatitis B vaccine and how effective it was, how it saved people's lives, children's lives. So that is one thing. And the second thing is like, I'm so good to see that being such a big scholar and with from none other than like Wharton. So he takes all the pain to come over here and teach, and then I really appreciate DHRUVA College of Management for having such kind of association. Because see, everybody is running after probably market side and then commercial side, that is important. But one thing, I really appreciate you, sir, for coming down and then probably having it's like such a wonderful view and commitment towards it's like our ancient wisdom, and I appreciate DHRUVA College of Management also. and all the participants, whoever come, and then it is like, it's not a small subject, but yes, we have to dwell upon regularly. So finally, it is like a wonderful, it is path to enlightenment and great things have done. I really thank you for your time and the DHRUVA College of Management. Thank you very much.